Hey, welcome back to Press Around. Today, let's just hit the right page, okay? I'm going to be reading How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So guys, this one's going to be longer than my other videos. So, yeah, and this is suggested to be a nighttime story. So, let's start. Oh, guys, also, I might do another Grinch book and more Dr. Seuss books because if you guys like this one, then I will. This is a big book, alright? Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head when it's screwed on just tight. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think it's that mostly likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Whos, starting down from his cave with a sore, grinchy frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy, now hanging a mistletoe wreath, and they're hanging their stockings. He's snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled with his grudge fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, oh, the noise, oh, noise, noise, noise. That's one thing he hated. The noise, 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 noise. Then the Whos, young and old, would sit down to have feast. They would feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, feast, feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing. They'd sing and sing and sing and sing. They'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more Grinch thought, I must stop the whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've been put up with it. Now I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch had a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and coat. He chuckled and chuckled. What a great Grinchy trick! With this coat and this hat, I just look like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, he took some red thread, and he tied a big thorn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty empty snacks on a ramshackle sleigh. Then he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up!" And the sleigh started down toward the home where the Who's laid a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quite filled the air. All the Who's were dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, "This is top number one." The gold Grinchy claws hissed, and he climbed through the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his hat out, the fireplace flew, where the little Who stockings hung in a row. "These stockings," he grinned, "are the first things to go." Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present: pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he sniffed them into bags. The Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags into one by the chimney. Then he slunk into the icebox. He took Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. "And now," grinned the Grinch, "I will stuff up the tree." And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove. And when he heard the small sound like the coo of a dove, he turned around fast and he saw a small Who. Little Cindy Lou Who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why were you taking my Christmas tree? Why?" But that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought up it quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light on the side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix up it there, and then I'll bring it back here." And then and his fib fooled the child, and he patted her head, and he got a drink and sent her back to bed. And then Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup. He went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log for the fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And then the one speck of food that had been left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's house, leaving crumbs much too small for their other Who mouses. It was 1/4 dawn. All the Who's still in bed, all the Who's still in snooze. When he packed up his sled, packed it through their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mr. Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh, pooh, to the Who's. He was Grinchiously humming. They were finding out to know that Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville, they will all cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch. That's a I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why the sound sounded merry? It couldn't be so, but it was very merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it had came the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages or boxes or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till the puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hasn't done before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And then happened well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whistled his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food and the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beef. And that is the story, how the Grinch stole Christmas. But then at the end that you guys can see, he brought it back. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe for more Grinch videos like this. And now I'm going to go see how... Let's see. Alright. Yeah, guys, you might see no presents under your Christmas tree tonight, or Christmas Eve, because I think I might have a trick up my sleeve on Christmas Eve. Peace out.